around the time he would have been first recording for the very first Venom movie, he would have been used to gaining weight and losing weight for whatever role he needed to play, so he looked like that role.
Hello there, and thank you for tuning into Elite Healers Sports Massage. Today we're going to be looking at a man who plays some intense and interesting roles. We're going to be looking at Tom Hardy. He's played Britain's most infamous prisoner, Bronson, Bane from Batman's Rogues Gallery, and the Marvel symbiote known as Venom. He's been playing some pretty masculine, intense characters for over the last decade plus. So I want to have a look at what he does to have earned his physique, and then what he does to maintain muscle by this point where he's making Eddie Brock in Venom 2 a reality. So, for people that are only recent fans of Tom's and maybe only saw him in 2018's Venom, I want you to know he did not recently get into shape. As of September 2021, Tom is 44 years old. Now, when Tom was 20 years old, he was first in something called the Big Breakfast. And this time he was skinny. He looked like your out of shape high school boy. But by the time he was 31, 11 years later, he was playing the role of Bronson. So young guys, good news is, even if you're in high school and you look really rail thin, there's still a real chance you have time to put on muscle. Stay tuned and learn how to build muscle like Tom, and then stay subscribed for more. And when he was 24, he was in Band of Brothers. It looked like he had a consistent workout regimen and was lean and ripped, which is sometimes the best you could do for that age. So this makes sense because Tom's probably an ectomorph body type. A year or two after this, he was in the movie Star Trek Nemesis. That movie flopped so bad that he claims his wife divorced him because of that movie, sending him into a dark place where it sounded like he was depressed, didn't work out, and even had to go to rehab for cocaine use because of the divorce. It sounds like he was in a dark place and he worked his way out of depression to live a life where he could be fit and turn over a new leaf. I mentioned his addiction and recovery, not to shame him, but to let everyone know that you can turn around your situation and make your future healthier and happier by working past your inner demons. Tom's fitness journey is one that I consider to be admirable. Now, before I go any further, if you're looking forward to this full review and you want to encourage me to make more, then give this video a like, subscribe to the channel, and then finally leave a comment in the comment section below. And let me know either what you like in this video or which celebrity you want me to review in the next workout review video.
And after doing some research, I learned that Tom really gained his muscle mass in 2008 for his role as Charles Bronson in the movie Bronson. Now I'm going to show you a few clips from that movie to give you a better idea of what he looked like. But I warn you, if you go and watch that movie, it's really graphic and violent, and it's not meant for everybody out there. What I'm showing you from that movie and other movies is as YouTube friendly as possible. Right before he played the role of Bronson in the year 2007, he allegedly lost weight to play Stuart Shorter, a heroin addict, in the movie Stuart, A Life Backwards. So in 1 year, he had massive amounts of physical change he underwent. He lost a total of 30 pounds during the time for Stuart Shorter by doing high amounts of cardio, running miles a day, and consuming animal protein and all the spinach he could eat. Tom's time as Bronson, it's alleged that he put on 35 pounds in about 5 weeks. And this is similar to what Anthony Mackie had to do to prepare to be in the bodybuilder movie Pain and Gain with The Rock and Mark Wahlberg. Check out that episode for more once you finish this video. I'll leave a link at the end of this one. When both these men put on their weight for both their roles, and you see them in their roles, they looked both muscular but chubby. So in 5 weeks, that must be the average time that Hollywood gives actors to get ready to look like the role they're going to soon play. Now, that muscle, converting it into pure muscle is not realistic, but over time you could take that bulk and totally turn it into muscle. I mean, he could have done other things that would have increased testosterone, which that would definitely help out with gaining muscle mass, and it would help stimulate a massive amount of muscle mass in a short period of time. So critically looking at Tom Hardy back in 2008 for the movie Bronson, he's not fully shredded. I'll say that much. He looked like he definitely had some fatty junk food in his diet to help him bulk up to play the role of Bronson, which honestly, to put on 35 pounds or 16 kilos in 5 weeks means some of it's going to have to be a little bit of fat, which is what he looks like in Bronson. Fit, but with a small outer shell of softness. Now fast forward into the year 2011, and he starred in the movie Warrior during this time, and this point in time, he looks like an absolute shredded beast. But it makes sense. He had to portray the role of a U.S. Marine turned MMA fighter. In this role, he was visibly leaned out and was 34 years old by this time. In my professional opinion, getting to this body type after having to bulk up for Bronson would be totally easy and reasonable to get to in a 3-year time frame. Now, one thing about that is that the year before he made Warrior, the movie Inception came out. And he had his clothes on, so it was hard to tell how shredded he was at that point in the timeline, but he was definitely in shape. You could see it through the clothes. Now, in regards to getting ripped, what's important is that you're both consistent with your diet and your workout in order to get to a shredded body type like the way he looked in Warrior. An interview around this time, he was asked about what his diet was, and he mentions a lot of chicken and broccoli, working out with weights for about 2 hours, and then 4 more hours training in 2 different martial arts styles for 2 hours each, eating 6 square meals a day, which sounds like the food would be bland, but with this type of diet, you're going to see physical changes. They were trying to get him from 162 to about 190 of lean muscle mass, and I bet he slept like a baby after 6 hours of training. And honestly, living a life like this where you could train for 6 hours a day, it sounds like an ideal lifestyle for me. He said he hated it all, but honestly, I would love to have a schedule like that. I just have to make sure that I get a weekly 90-minute or 2-hour sports massage every week. So remember, if you need to recover from exercise, competition, or just the demands in life are in New York City, then schedule a sports massage by going to www.elitehealersmassagetherapy.com and schedule your session right away. I've left a link in the description. Now comes the following year of 2012, where he plays the role of Bane from the Dark Knight Rises, which I might add, Bane is Gotham's most infamous supervillain juicehead. In this movie, I think that they took Tom from looking like a bodybuilder the year before to make him look like a powerlifter, and some of you know exactly what I mean. Powerlifters, they don't care what they look like, they just need to be strong rather than look strong. And for this role, Tom put an additional 30 pounds to be strong looking. Now, I don't know why he didn't stay shredded to play the role of Bane. It was probably a casting call. But in my opinion, I'm a comic book fan, and I would have loved to see a more vascular and shredded Bane. That would have been cool. Maybe the powerlifter body was their idea to compensate for the voice that they knew they were going to give him in this movie. They should have given the Batman the Animated Series voice.
You can't believe how I look forward to this.
Sorry, Tom, I wish you had a cooler voice when you had played Bane. As for Tom's physique, as Bane, he was definitely a larger and more massive presence for this movie. It wasn't as impressive as Warrior, but again, Hollywood had him bulking up in about 5 weeks' time. This is another fitness recipe to have some chub sitting on top of your muscles, but at least you still got your arms and legs working and you're not rolling around
like a turd in the wind.
So by the time we get to 2017, around the time he would have been first recording for the very first Venom movie, he would have been used to gaining weight and losing weight for whatever role he needed to play, so he looked like that role. I did not find much on his training for Venom in the first one, except for some remarks from his personal trainer Mark Mean and his fight instructor Nathan Jones. What they mention is that he's a very humble learner and an eager student. He's willing to try new things with both resistance training and fight training. He looks to play out fight scenarios so he can solely focus on making himself a better fighter. They also mention he has a lot of power and endurance to him, and he asks to train 5 days a week with a minimum of 2 sessions per day that are 2 hours each. They say he doesn't see himself like an athlete, but they totally recognize him as one. And this sounds that in 2017 and 2018, when he was working on Venom, he enjoys training himself rather than getting ready for the roles he plays. I mean, who doesn't want an Eddie Brock Venom combination? Look strong, maybe a little crazy. It's going to be fun to see Tom Hardy's Venom with Tom Holland's Peter Parker on the screen together, because we know it's coming. And it's going to be something that's going to be really fun. And no matter what, you want to train like Tom Hardy if you're really serious about having a good lifetime of training, because he's overcome a lot and he is super consistent with what he does for training. So if you want to train to be a supervillain, I'm not suggesting to be a supervillain, but if you want to train to be a supervillain or to look like a supervillain, then you need to go train like Tom Hardy.
Now, in my opinion, the best details on what got Tom Hardy fit did not come from his getting ready for Venom 2, Venom 1, or even his role as Bane. It seems that Tom Hardy has been working on his fitness levels and been serious about it since after his divorce and recovery when he was in his 20s. And currently he's 44 years old. So by now it's easy to conclude that this man has really dedicated at least half his life to working on his body. Even with a personal trainer and fighting coach, he definitely has an understanding of how to take care of himself. One of the biggest things, he remains coachable to those that are in charge of his training and recovery. One other thing, outside of that, who else is excited for Venom 2 coming out today on the same day that I released this video? That's right. I'm going to be lining up the celebrity workout reviews with the celebrity's latest movie or season of television. Now that you're done with this one, go click on that playlist and go watch the next celebrity workout review. Thanks so much for watching this one, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks!